Welcome to the Dr. Dare Show. My name is Dr. Dare. I am a recent graduate. I graduated in August 2019, so it's really new. And I just wanted to give some tips that I learned from the dissertation process. So I titled this video, How to Get Your Dissertation Done. So basically, first of all, before you enter a dissertation program, you kind of want to have an idea of the research problem and the topic that you want to discuss. So before I started the program, I had an idea of what topic I wanted to address, or what research problem I wanted to address. And so first, we want you to keep that in the back of your mind when you initially start. Once you get accepted into a doctoral program, there's going to be two portions of that program, the coursework portion and the dissertation portion. The coursework portion, for me, was pretty easy. It was basically the student-teacher relationship. You read a book, you study, you take a test, you get a grade, But during that coursework program, I want you to, any assignments that you have or given by your professors, I want you to make them geared toward your research topic or your research problem. And I will distinguish the research problem from the dissertation topic in a second. But first of all, when you're going through your coursework program, I want you to write papers on that topic, write papers on that research problem, write anything you have to do, any projects, any assignments, just make sure they're geared toward that topic that's in the back of your mind. Keep in mind that will change, but at least you have a framework of what you're thinking about initially in the program, which will help you in the end. And during that process also, you're gathering research articles based on that research topic. Okay, so now we're still in the coursework program. Once you get out of the coursework, that means you've taken all your coursework during that time. Now you enter into that dissertation portion of the program. Here, in some schools, you may develop your topic and research question in the coursework program, or you may develop your research topic in your problem, in the dissertation program. So, for instance, and when you're thinking of a topic, and I'm going to go domestic violence, that's a broad topic. Your goal as a dissertation student and a researcher is to find a gap in existing literature that hasn't been studied. So domestic violence is very, very, very broad. So we want to know domestic violence is your problem. That's going to be a problem. But we want to know what population it's dealing with. We want to be so specific that there's no other studies out there. So from the top of my head, I'm going to say, we want to know what are the lived experiences of individuals in interracial relationships who are mixed with Indian, Chinese, African American, Hispanic, Caucasian individuals who are in an interracial couple. These people are mixed with all those things, just trying to make it more specific. And their impact with domestic violence in West Virginia. So that is our research question. What are the lived experiences of these individuals who are mixed with all these races that live in individuals who have experienced domestic violence? So that's our research question. The topic is the problems that mixed racial couples have as it relates to domestic violence in West Virginia. Kind of related, similar, but you get the drift. The only thing I did, I took domestic violence and I made it very, 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 very specific. And that is the goal of you should have when you're doing a research topic and question. And they are similar. The research topic is just the kind of an overview of what you're going to discuss, like what is the impact? The impact of domestic violence on interracial mixed couples who live in West Virginia. So that's your topic. Your research question is going to be, what are the lived experiences of these mixed interracial couples who live in Virginia who are impacted by domestic violence? And see, that's the difference. You're answering the research question. The topic is just giving you the statement. So there. So you're going to develop those, like I said, you may develop those in the coursework, or you may develop those in the dissertation portion of your program. So once you're in the dissertation program, what your topic is probably going to already be established. So you should be constantly gathering research articles related to that topic. And the more articles, the better. And what you want to do is store them. Even the ones you did in the coursework, you want to store them somewhere in a folder and just keep track of them. However that way you do that, then you do it. But yeah, we're going to be constantly gathering articles. I think when I finished, I had maybe 200 and something. I'm not sure. But you want a lot of articles and stay within the 5-year period. So here, all we've talked about so far is developing a topic, developing a research question, finding articles, having that research topic and question in your mind before you even start the program. And so then if you have to tweak that topic, one key, and I saw this a lot in the program, and don't argue with your professor or your mentor when they're trying to help you tweak that topic or that research question, because they've done a dissertation before. You have not. Listen to that clearly, because that will hold you back, because you're trying to argue about something that you know nothing about. You've never done a dissertation. And I know sometimes we feel passionate about a topic, but sometimes the professor and the mentors know that it's not going to get by IRB because they don't want you to hurt anybody, and your topic may trigger something in your research participants that could cause them harm. And so your professor has that in the back of their mind, and so they're just trying to protect you from that, because down the road you don't want to send your stuff to IRB and then it gets denied because they fear you're going to harm somebody. Then you got to come back and start from scratch and redo a topic. And so you want to be careful of that. Remember, your topic has to be approved by IRB. Data collection has to be approved by IRB. That's the Institutional Review Board for that acronym. And your study has to be approved by them, the entire thing, the data collection, the research interview questions, all of the things that are involved in this whole dissertation have to be approved by the IRB, excuse me. And so that's all we are. We talked about the coursework portion and the dissertation portion. And so in the dissertation portion, you will be giving a template, and this varies from school, with 5 chapters on there. And there's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. Each of those chapters serve a purpose. Chapter 1, to me, felt like it was just setting the platform for the entire dissertation by giving the readers the definition of the terms, giving them the need for the study. Why are you studying interracial couples in Virginia, that have been impacted by domestic violence? The purpose of the study, the research question, which we kind of summed up already with the topic and the research question, the limitations, any assumptions that were made by you, any limitations that you experienced as a researcher, and how this study is going to be organized. So like I said, chapter 1 is just like setting up the stage for what you're going to discuss in chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and 5. Chapter 1 was not that problematic for me. Chapter 2, you saw that pause? Yeah, chapter 2, it was difficult, and listen carefully. It was difficult because there's no format, there's no guidelines to kind of tell you how this should be written. The goal of chapter 2 is for you, the researcher, to explain your topic, give all the information on your topic that has already been studied. Basically, like domestic violence, the term itself, there's tons of literature out there, so you want to discuss domestic violence. There's tons of literature probably on interracial relationships, so you want to discuss that piece and give what is already out there. Then you want to discuss, oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Domestic violence and the impact it has on this couple. So that is what we don't know. And then we want to discuss, sorry, I lost my train of thought, West Virginia. We want to discuss the climate, the environment there. So those are the pieces of the components that your chapter 2 should be built on, because those components build the topic and the research questions. So you want to give what is already out there in your literature that's already existing. That's all you're talking about in chapter 2. You shouldn't be bringing anything else in there. Just the literature that is already out there about the components as they are separately. Your gap is putting all those things together to form your new dissertation of study. Does that make sense? Because domestic violence is out there, interracial couples are out there, stuff about West Virginia is out there. But when you combine all those things together, that gap is not out there. And that information is going to come from your participants in chapters 4 and, chapter 4. And you're going to start gathering that stuff in chapter 3. But we'll get there. So chapter 2, like I said, in chapter 2 you have to create or find a theoretical orientation to explain your study as well. So you have to think of a theoretical orientation to explain domestic violence on these people. What theoretical orientation you can explain the impact of this domestic violence on the couple and the experiences they have. So I'm just thinking from the top of my head for a theoretical orientation. I'm going to call them a minority stress theory. It just says when people are minorities and they have a different type of stress level, and I'm just making this up from the top of my head. So if they have a different stress level, then you can explain the domestic violence for this mixed interracial couple, individuals who live in Virginia, using that theoretical orientation. Hopefully that makes sense, because basically the theoretical orientation is helping you explain your research topic and problem. Okay, and so then chapter 2 is a bunch of literature. Like we said, you break that down into those components.